Well, hello everyone. Today I'm gonna be talking about the differences between viruses and bacteria. First of all, here's an overview of bacteria and viruses. The one to the right is a virus. This is commonly known as the coronavirus. And the one to the left is a bacteria. First, we're gonna discuss the bacteria's and viruses structures. First off, the virus structure. The virus has four main parts of the structure: the envelope, the spike, which attaches to specific cell structures, nucleic acid, which is the genetic code, which is DNA or RNA, and the protein coat. While bacteria's cell anatomy has a lot more parts of the structure than the virus. The bacteria has a pilus, a capsule, a cell wall, a plasma membrane, plasmid, ribosomes, nucleoids, which is the DNA, and cytoplasm. Then we have the size difference between bacteria and viruses. Over here we can see some kinds of giant viruses. Uh, this symbol means micrometers, while the NM means nanometers. Nanometer is a unit of length equal to 1 billionth of a meter or 1 millionth of a millimeter, and there are 1000 nanometers in a micrometer. 1 micrometer is equal to 1000 nanometers. And if we're gonna compare the sizes between bacteria and viruses, the smallest virus is still a lot larger than the biggest virus. And then we have some interesting facts about viruses and bacteria. The largest virus is still smaller than the smallest bacteria. There are 10 times as many microbial cells in the human body, making the ratio of microbial cells to human cells a 10 to 1 ratio in favor of microbial cells. This means that there are much there are more cells, there are more bacterial cells in the body than human cells. And in a 200-pound adult, that's 2 to 6 pounds of bacteria. And viruses are non-living, unlike bacteria. Bacteria cells are living, while viruses are non-living. Then we have the shape of bacteria and viruses. The virus shapes: polyhedral, spherical, helical, and complex. While the bacteria shapes: sphere, which is sometimes called cocky, rod, which is sometimes called bacilli, and spirals. Here's a demonstration of the shapes. This is the polyhedral, this is the spherical, the helical, and the complex. These are the virus shapes. And now we have the bacteria shapes, the spheres, and here are some examples of them. The rods, and here are some examples of them. And finally you have infecting cells. First we have the lytic cycle, normal process of viral reproduction involving penetration of the cell membrane, nucleic acid synthesis, and lysis of the host cell. This means that the virus attaches itself to a cell membrane of a normal cell, then it gives it its genetic information and forces the cell membrane to keep reproducing copies of the virus. While lysogenic cycle is a form of viral reproduction involving the fusion of nucleic acid and of a bacteriophage with that of a host, followed by the proliferation of the resulting prophage. This means that in the lysogenic cycle, the virus cells, the virus attaches itself to the membrane, the same way that the lytic cycle did. But the difference here is that in the lysogenic cycle, it puts it mixes the virus mixes its DNA with the original cell's DNA. so it's harder for the host cell to notice. And the host cell keeps reproducing, making copies of itself. And then after some time, or a physical or chemical trigger, the virus cells are active. And then we have the bacteria, the ways that bacteria infect. Bacteria are much larger than viruses, and they are too large to be taken up by receptor-mediated endocytosis. Instead, they enter the host cells through phagocytosis. There's a process called phagocytosis, and sometimes the bacteria attaches itself to a tissue and stops some of its functions. And then we have the most common types of viruses and bacteria. The most common types of viruses are the common cold, the viral COVID-19 or the coronavirus, and HIV, which can lead to AIDS if not treated. These are the most common types of viruses. And then we have the most common types of bacteria. We have cholera, leprosy, tuberculosis, plague, and syphilis. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.